Hello, this is Nadine, your TV host with the Racing to Success Web TV. We are here on a Google Hangout, and today we will learn about water and the energy of water and how that water is so important for our lives. So we have an expert today. His name is Patrick Durkin. Is a master of change, and he had to change kind of his life and made a lot of money in his life. He will share a little bit of that story too, but his mantra is really flow with life. It's a little bit like me with the dance with your bike and go with the flow. And now that he had made a lot of money in all other venture, is here to help the world on understanding what is water and how much it's important for our life and how we can transform our life with better water. So welcome, Patrick.
Thank you, Nadine. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I've long appreciated your work and how you have the guts to race on a motorcycle at 180 miles an hour. It's just crazy to me. So how cool that we could get together and talk about now your current business and how you can make a difference with coaching people and teaching them more about health, and hydration is an important part of that. So thank you for having me here to talk about this.
Thank you. And Patrick, I would like you to maybe give us a little background of your business acumen. And it's not just like water and energy, so woo-woo stuff. You are really a businessman, and I want people really understand that part of you.
Yeah, great. Well, it's my pleasure. I was a financial advisor for 18 years, and I thought everything was about money. And I just competition and how can I be number one. At the age of 29, I changed brokerage firms, and I moved to a firm with 7,000 brokers. And in 1 year, I was in the top 25. And I couldn't believe my success, and I came to understand my inherent strengths. And what I was really doing, it's very unusual, but people tell you you can't trade the stock market. But I was trading the stock market. The thing is, where my information was coming from was every night I would get in front of a computer monitor and I would look at stock charts. And I only looked at two pieces of data. I looked at the price and the volume. Nothing else in the stock market was of interest to me. And I would just kind of get in trances looking at price and volume. And it would get to the point where I would print out these stock charts over and over again, and then I'd sort them and sort them and sort them. And by the time I got to work in the morning, the ones that were on top, they would go up. And, it was a great time to be in the stock market, and I was very lucky to do it. And I didn't know then what I know now about what I was doing, but I was really channeling the stock market, right? I was allowing energy to come through me to guide me. Rather than like my mind knowing, I just followed the path. So as I followed that path, I was also still caught in a lot of competitive behaviors and caught in thinking that materialism was going to be important to me. And so my body fell apart. And that was the challenge for me, was how do I balance my life when I've got all these material things? And the more my health fell apart, the more I felt like I had to learn about living in a body. And I had irritable bowel syndrome for 7 years, and my doctor's suggestion for that was, here, we want you to take a pill, and we want you to take it every day for the rest of your life. And, I wasn't okay with that, right? I see you shaking your head.
I wouldn't be either. When I broke my collarbone and my knee, I barely took painkiller, and my doctor couldn't believe it, because I'm really about all natural stuff.
Yeah, right on. Well, I wasn't then, but I had to become, because I didn't want to live out of synchronicity with my body. And so I started learning, and I went to some people that I would have called weird. And I went to nutritionists and massage therapists, and then I went to breath work, and then I went to acupuncture, and then I went to energy workers. And these people, they tell me they could work on me when my body wasn't in the room. And I was like, what do you mean you can work on me when my body's in the room? They said, well, everything's just energy. Like, we'll show you. And so year after year, well, week after week, month after month, year after year, I kept being shown one piece of information after the next, that had me understand, like, I am energy. And I think that that's not an uncommon belief these days. You know, we met, the audience will know, but we met at Peak Potentials, right? And Peak Potentials teaches that everything is energy. And they've taught, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or millions of people now, but there are a lot of people that believe we're energy. But there are not that many people who have examined, if I'm energy, how do I align my behaviors to be in alignment with who I really am? And that is something I've spent a lot of time thinking about. I spent an entire year of my life where the background question was, are we all connected? Like, are we one? And I asked life to show me the evidence. Like, are we or aren't we? And one of the things I noticed was that whenever there's a catastrophe, it brings out the best in all of us, and we go to help one another. So when there's a natural disaster, aid comes in from all over the world to help. And when I started seeing things like that, I was thinking, why does somebody who lives in the United States, who's never been to a far-off land that's been hit by a tsunami, why is their heart pulled, and do they want to send their resources to those people? And I kept seeing evidence like that we are one. And so I now think from the perspective that you and me, everybody listening, everybody who watches this video, and the earth, we all come from the same energy. And whatever that energy is, whatever anybody calls that, I'm okay with that. That's their choice. I don't have any word that I think people should use about that. But it's energy. And so I like to think from a perspective of oneness, and how can I make your life better, or a listener's life better, or the earth better? And if I can contribute to any of that, then that makes my life better. Like, it gives me meaning that's so far beyond any money that I ever made.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like me as motorcycle. I was doing my bubble of protection around my bike, and people were asking, who is that woman first on the racetrack, and doing a meditation or a bubble of protection, and I was protecting myself for sure, but all the other racers in the racetrack. And I really think coming from that place, that's probably why we always connected together, because of that oneness, that even if we didn't exchange so much together, we were kind of always bumping into each other. And I think what is life about? At one point when you need something in your life, you always bump into that. And I'm really grateful that you are here to explain to us the energy into the water. And I just want to tell people who are on the Hangout right now, we will share the link a little bit later so people will be able to join us and ask questions to Patrick, more specific question if you want. So Patrick, explain to us a little bit more about what you discover with that water and how we can benefit all of us.
Great. Well, let me share with you briefly, Nadine, the transition for me. So I wanted to give back in my community. And so I started a project, and the project was I wanted to get 1,000 people to start using bottles like this instead of plastic bottles. And so I went to the local water company, and I started speaking at schools, and I gave talks at the library, and I talked to people about plastic bottles. And it's really easy to get agreement these days that plastic bottles are, not good for the environment and not good, like, people just want to know what the alternative is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's very common, right? That we believe now plastic bottles aren't good, but people haven't known, well, what do I do about that? Right? Because we want things to be convenient in our lives. So as I pursued my project, one day my mom was one of my clients when I was a stockbroker, and she called me up one day and she said, Patrick, you seem to be more passionate about your water bottle project than managing my money. What's going on over there? And within 4 months, I left the business. And I didn't know how I was going to make it in the new business, but I knew I was going to. Like, passion fuels me, and so I just followed my passion. And it was an uncomfortable transition. You know, it sounds so easy now, but it was uncomfortable. There were some life adjustments, and I learned a lot. But what happened was, as I got to stand in front of audiences and hear what mattered to them, life kept opening the doors for me to learn more about the quality of water. So it wasn't just water, but it's like, well, what's in water that people don't know about? What can I learn? And first I learned about toxins. I think that's where everybody starts. But then I learned you can actually filter out the toxins so well that you can take the minerals out too. And that was a surprise to me, like, oh, I'm getting minerals from my water. I didn't really know about that. And I was drinking a water, reverse osmosis, that took all the toxins out, really good for taking toxins out, but it was taking the minerals out too. And I didn't like that, you know, because the way I see it is this body that I'm living in, it's made of minerals, like it stands on minerals. And if the minerals aren't built up enough, I could look like a little, you know, 80-year-old person that gets, you know, all shrunken and small, and I don't want to do that. So I always want to give my body minerals. And then I learned about the alkalinity of water. I learned about pH, and I learned about antioxidants in water. And water is really amazing. But then there was one moment where everything changed. And what happened was that I learned about structured water. And structured water is water with energy in it, and it's measurable. I'm going to try a screen share here, and let's see if I can get this page right. Bear with me as I work on the technology for 1 sec.
And let me just take it from there until you figure that out. Okay, you got back. But like for people like me who are so busy traveling all around the world, like me, I drink water everywhere, and I kind of don't really pay attention like you did. So I want you to be able to bring that to us about the importance of not even knowing it, how we can improve our lives.
Okay, great. I will do that. That's what it's all about, is improving the lives. So I just want to speak about this quickly, and then I'll get it off here, because I'm not sure that it's going to be very visible for people. But what we're looking at on the black part of the screen is that it's a measurement of the energy of water. And if anybody's interested afterwards, you can just, you know, we'll connect you to this information and make sure you have it. But what the image shows is it's a black background, and on the left is filtered water. It's actually distilled water. The middle is a natural spring, and the one on the right is the spring water poured through one of our devices. And so, you know, many people have never heard of the concept of the energy of water, and so I just want them to know that the technology is called gas discharge visualization. It measures the energy of water, and that we can see that when we take energized water and put it into the human body, that people experience a minimum 10% increase in the energy of their biofield. So imagine that, like, we're all energy. We don't really know how to think like that or live like that. But imagine that it just gets 10% bigger. That's kind of a big deal. And so when we talk about impacting your life, Nadine, there's a lot of aspects to it. It can get the conversation can move in many directions. But the first place I want to answer that for you is we did some testing at CEO Space, where you know, we've been to events together. And what we did was we installed our structuring device on the infrastructure of the Westin Hotel in Lake Las Vegas. And then what we did is we had 12 participants to the conference come in, and as they came in, we asked them if they ever drank structured water before. And we found 12 that said no, that wanted to participate. And Jerry Keir, who's a nutritionist, who's part of the CEO Space community, and she does live blood analysis. She took those people upstairs and she took a drop of their blood and put it on a microscope, and she showed it to them. She said, okay, you've just arrived. Here's what your blood looks like. And now I want you to come back up here in 48 hours, and I'm going to show it to you again. Go drink like you normally do. The water downstairs is structured. So people started drinking the structured water, and then I'd be down in the lobby, and somebody would come to me and say, Patrick, do you have any more of your devices? I got to buy one. I just saw my blood. And
wow,
across the board, everybody, we saw an increase in the energy and vitality of their blood. And we've made a video of that, and that's available. What we'll do is we'll post a link later to my Water Magic course, which I'll give to your audience, Nadine. There's more about that later, but it's all the information that we're talking about today. People can get it in one place, and we'll share how to do that. So the video...
And that is... I just want to make a comment about the live blood analysis. Probably not a lot of people knows about that. I got my live blood analysis many years ago, and I still didn't find nobody here in the States, so I really need that contact about the live blood analysis, because you can discover which kind of disease is coming into your body a lot before the medical and the traditional medicine is discovering it. It's really amazing, and thank you, Patrick, to sharing that with us, because people will be blown away.
Yeah, well, we'll get that video up in the event box afterwards. So yeah, Nadine, you make a great point about the live blood analysis can see before the symptoms develop, before a person gets sick. And so what we were seeing in everybody we tested was a significant increase in the energy and vitality of their cells. Now, people don't necessarily all feel that, right? So when we talk about making a difference for your life, one thing is for you to see the science and to know that your cells are immediately different from drinking the water, and then to allow time, because there's a delay in third-dimensional reality. We change things, and then it takes a while to manifest the new thing, and people tend to give up too easily. So some people, literally one sip of the water, and they will get their credit card out, buy it, install it in their home, and drink it forever. And other people will buy it, and after a period of 1, 2, and 3 months, they'll call me or email me and say, you told me this makes a big difference. I'm drinking it. I don't feel anything. And I'll say, I understand exactly where you are. It took me 4 months of drinking it before I felt anything myself. So it's very normal that it takes a while to feel it, and some people are more sensitive and they'll feel it right away. But what we know is there's more energy in the water. It's measurable. We know there's more energy in your body from drinking it, and we know that your cellular vitality is going to increase from putting this in your body. At least that's what we don't know what's going to happen in any individual body, but we know everybody that we've looked at their blood so far that that's been true. So,
and my question to you is, do you have any scientific proof of it in any kind of way? I know maybe a guy who was working for the NASA who can help you there on that physical and scientific proof, but we all know that even if we don't feel it, it's really important to have good water, and feeling the energy. It's like going to the gym. Some people are sore easily, and some people are not. So I think it's a little bit like the same thing with your water, right?
Yeah, that's great, Nadine. So thank you. I'd love to talk to you about that resource and what type of equipment might be available. And when you have a new paradigm, it's very interesting to see how do you prove it, because everybody's still living in the old paradigm, right? So if I say water test to somebody who I'm in a conversation with, they say send the water to a lab, measure the toxins, show me that it runs through your device, it removes the toxins, Give me those tests, now I want your product. That's testing in today's world. Well, that discounts so many things. And it's okay if somebody wants to consider that, but I want to help them see many new truths. One, the head of the bioengineering department from the University of Washington, his name is Dr. Gerald Pollack. He published a book last May called The Fourth Phase of Water. And the fourth phase of water shows that we all think that there's ice, liquid, and steam. And between ice and liquid is the fourth phase. It's structured water. It's water where, get this, Nadine, this is really interesting. What do you think happens normally if you, in the three phases you already understand, if we add energy, like heat, energy, to water, what happens to it? The temperature goes up, right? That's the relationship we expect. Energy in, temperature up. In the fourth phase of water, we have energy in, structure created, not temperature up. So in the fourth phase of water, it's actually storing energy like a battery. So if we can put energy into the water, now we can also take that energy out into our bodies. This is really amazing. So the way we measure that is gas discharge visualization. But it's nice to have Gerald Pollack from the University of Washington leading the edge and teaching us about that. He's also teaching us that water is not just H2O. Everybody thinks of water as hydrogen and oxygen in the chemical formula H2O. But it turns out that water is actually hydrogen and oxygen, and they're constantly moving and changing. So you can have H3O2. You can have OH minus. And there's dozens and dozens of configurations of hydrogen and oxygen. And as they change, their properties change, right? So I don't know if you know much about carbon, but I've been so committed to knowing everything I can about this and to being able to explain it to people that I've learned a lot of funny pieces and put them together. So one of them that helped me explain this to people is you can take carbon, and it's the chemistry that makes up coal, right? Coal is made of carbon. And you can take a diamond, and it's made of carbon. So it's the same chemistry, but it makes two totally different things. So we can take hydrogen and oxygen and make two completely different waters, right? There's evidence for it in lots of places in life, but there's not a lot of knowledge about it. And there's a reason there's not a lot of knowledge about all of this with water. There's actually a couple of reasons. One is follow the money trail. It's not good business to empower people to get energy for their bodies with a device that they buy once and there are no repeating parts and no maintenance. That's not good business. And then the second reason I was going to give just slipped my mind. So we'll go with
I just want to add something on that. I saw a little piece of What the Bleep Do You Know with Masaru Emoto a few years ago, and he's doing a different vibration into the water and how the water structure or design is so different when he kind of froze that water to analyze that. And he had made a lot of progress and a lot of proof to the science, but still that was so hard for him to get into the market, because as you say, if everybody can have the right water, and the planet is rich enough to give water to everybody on this planet and drinkable water, there are different devices and different things that exist, but the people don't know it because the lobbyists and the big company, it's not to their advantage.
No, it's not to their advantage. They want to sell us drinks in containers that we throw away, right? That's profitable. So I want to show people what our device looks like. So we have 6. This is the portable unit. It is the simplest thing. You pour water in the top, it comes out the bottom. That's it. This one's handheld. For somebody like you who travels all over the world, this would be the one that you'd be interested in. But for people who are more home-based, we have a shower unit, a sink unit, a garden unit, and a whole house unit. And so people can pick whichever one gives them the convenience that they want. But they all do the same thing. When the water goes through here, it spins in the shape of the infinity sign. That's it. So we're used to that what filtering water means or treating water means is that you add minerals or you take toxins out, right? It's adding and removing from the chemistry. And what we're doing with this device is we're moving the water like nature moves the water. That's it. It's biomimicry. Like, what does nature do? Look at the hydrological cycle. What the hydrological cycle does is move water. And think about this for a minute, Nadine. You're made of water, just like everybody is. And I want you to picture two images for a minute. Would you rather be made of water that came from a pond or a waterfall?
A waterfall.
Waterfall. We know we want to be in the flow with life. We want to be moving. We want to be vibrant. We know that energetically. I've never had anybody choose the pond. Never. Never. Which is kind of amazing. Maybe someday somebody will, and I'll learn something from them. But for the most part, what nature does to bring energy to water is move it. I go for walks most days right by the beach here, and there's waves coming on the shore. And I get a benefit from it. It's not like walking elsewhere. I gain something. I feel different when I walk by water. I'm very lucky to be able to do that. We naturally, look at where everybody lives. We all move to the shores. Even with global warming and all the floods and all the danger that comes from living the shore, we live right next to the water because we're drawn to it. And what we're drawn to is moving water. Now, I want to say something else about.
I just want to stop you, Patrick. We just remain a few minutes. If you can post if somebody wants to be on the show with us for the last few minutes, and if you want to ask questions to Patrick, we want to open that call for that and continue on what you were saying, Patrick.
Okay, I'm just typing this real quick. All right, I'm posting the link on the event page, and anybody that would like to come in, just click on that link and come on in and you can talk with us. So thank you, Nadine. Okay, I lost my train of thought again. So
we get so excited, and finally we go to the shore, and we are attracted by the moving water.
Yeah, we are. Okay, so I know what I was going to share with you. So this figure 8 motion, the infinity sign, I think most people think the infinity sign is appealing. Like, I don't think anybody is repelled by it. It seems to have a positive energy. And if you look in the world from just a couple of years ago till now, the #1 tattoo on women these days is the infinity sign. And a couple of years ago, there weren't infinity signs anywhere. And I think that it's an important thing to see that energy emerging everywhere. Well, the amazing thing about these devices is the water spins in both directions at the same time. It's called a double vortex. And I'm not a mathematician, but what a mathematician has explained to me is that when it gets to the center of a double vortex, it's spinning so fast, it's called infinitely fast. It's immeasurably fast, how fast water's spinning in there. And I think that that's where the transformation happens, is when water spins infinitely fast. So there's a lab report that we have that's in the Water Magic course. It's called the Biochem Lab Report. And anybody that has trouble finding it can contact me, and I'll be happy to help with that. And the Biochem Lab Report shows that we took one of these simple devices, exactly like this one, poured water through here, and when it came out the other side, the chemistry changed. There was E. coli in the water, and 25% of the E. coli was gone. And there were dissolved solids in the water, and 40% of them were gone. They were transformed. So just from spinning, they completely changed. So I want to bring this back to the thing that you said earlier, because it's the thing I care the most about, is how do we use this to help people in their lives? Because it doesn't matter at all if it's just something to manage or take care of, or something you have to buy or something like that. And what I want to tell people is that when we structure water, we change that water. It transforms. And when you transform the water that you're made of, it's as important as being made of a waterfall versus being made of a pond. It's a completely different energy. And so I know that the number one thing that this water gives me is my health and vitality. What I don't know is what impact is it going to have on you or the next person or the next person. It might help them change from a chronic condition that they have and have it go away. Dry skin or dry eyes might change. One woman wrote her fingernails are now growing very differently. At the age of 60, she didn't expect that kind of growth from her body. Like, it just depends. But we know we're going to give them more energy. We're going to have their cells very likely change, and that'll have whatever impact on their health that it has. And so it's also important to distinguish for people that these devices are really inexpensive and that they are one-time purchases. So there's no moving parts, there's nothing to replace, there's no maintenance, there's no way for my business to come back next year and say, you need to buy something to make that better. Like, it's just one and done. And I, as an environmentalist who started out with a water bottle project, I love that. As a person who was sick and couldn't find the cause, that spent 7 years going between pain and sore joints and upset stomach and all of that, to be able to give people the hydration to support their life, that's why I'm doing this work, right? My life's journey brings me here to communicate what I had to learn to be able to communicate this to others.
Yeah, that's amazing. And if they have some people who want to join us in the last few minutes of the show, just join us and ask your question to Patrick. No problem. And Patrick, how the people can reach you and be sure that we continue that discussion with you and change our life with water?
Well, there's a couple of ways. What we're going to do right after the hangout here is I'll post a link in the event page that's going to allow people to go and take my course. And if they want to just learn a lot about this, that's a great way to do it. And then, of course, they can just contact me directly. And there's two ways to do that. There's an email address, which is support at, S-U-P-P-O-R-T, support at, 3 words together, the Wellness Enterprise, T-H-E, Wellness, W-E-L-L-N-E-S-S, Enterprise, ENTERPRISE.com. Sorry to be so slow for everybody got it the first time, but I don't want anybody to miss it. And you can also just call at 775-888-1391. So either one of those contacts, or follow the link to Water Magic and just be my guest and take the course. And I used to charge $497 for this course up until December. And what happened was I was coaching a couple of people on their hydration habits, and they had such astounding results in their lives that I wanted everybody to get it. And I'm very open to being shaped by circumstances. Like, you know, when circumstances said you're not supposed to be a financial advisor anymore, I could see like the doors were getting really hard to open and the other doors were open. Well, the doors were getting hard to keep Water Magic like it's mine. And I now really get that I'm just the collector of the information. Have had the privilege of living it and publishing it, and now I'm supposed to give it away. And so I've waived the tuition on the course for everyone. And there's a video that they'll be able to see on our homepage that shows why. It's the results from one of the people. And we're actually just, I don't know if it's up yet, but just today we got a testimonial from somebody that was so life-altering that I felt like we had to post it up there. I wonder how quickly I can find that. It's really, really amazing. This will just take me 1 second. I've got a document opening right now. We get testimonials in all the time, but this one really, it caught my attention.
That's awesome, and I just want to share a little bit the Racing to Success Web TV. It's an honor to have you as my guest today. But the Racing to Success is really always, it's a 6-step process to help people in their personal, professional, and spiritual side. So I think today, Patrick, you really touched the 3 aspects of how to race to success, because you talk about the business side of it, that not a lot of people, they love it because it's a one-time buy and then you can change your life with your water. You share about your personal story and the personal effect that can bring water into the people's life, and you share also that oneness and that energy about the water. So thank you very much for being able to help all the people here about racing to success in 3 areas of your life with your water device and your water research that you did in your life.
That's so well said, Nadine, and I'm so glad that you have such a comprehensive platform. I think it speaks to some of the shared training that we've had, where, you know, we've learned from people instead of learning from business school. Well, we might have done that, you know, a couple of decades ago, but we've been learning from people in the last 5 and 6 years, and we've been going, you know, constantly to educate ourselves and gain more information. And the lessons that are being taught by the thought leaders these days are about holistic perspectives, right? It's about teaching when you do come from that place of oneness, where, you know, the actions you take in the world impact the world. I think that's a really fantastic place, and I love your commitment to helping people live better lives, right? Racing to success in all areas of their lives. So let me read this testimonial to you. It's 5 or 6 lines, and I found it very moving. So this woman wrote, my experience with structured water has gotten better. First, it was the taste that I loved and still do. Now my breathing is getting deeper for the first time in over 40 plus years. I have 2 inhalers I use for asthma, and now I'm improving with just 1 of them now. Anxiety is better, less fearful. I'm attracting more good in my life now. I say prayers to my water. I play songs about God and Jesus to my water. I have to say thank you for Water Magic 101. It's this course that has me developing a relationship with water that I had no clue about. God bless you for this knowledge forever. Brenda McKnight.
Wow. Awesome.
I love that.
Hopefully, like a lot of people will take your course and continue to have connection with you. We really have to go. I think we kind of got over the 30 minutes, but it's so exciting, and we get excited about the project. And thank you very much, Patrick, to share your knowledge with us. And you have a last word for the people?
My last word is love. Thank you, Nadine. I do this work because I feel love for you and everyone else, and for our shared connection. And I consider it such a privilege to be living this life where I get to connect with people and share love. So thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And this is Nadine with the Racing to Success Web TV. And stay tuned with us for the next episode. And let us know your comments, which kind of guests you would like to see on the show, which kind of subject. I'm open to it. And you just contact me at nadinelajoie.tv. And my email on my website. You can reach me also at 949-421-7562, and race to success like a motorcycle racer, like the life is your last day today, and just enjoy as much as you can in three different areas of your life: your personal, professional, and spiritual life. And God bless you.